What it is, my 10-0, peace and grease here. And, you know, lately a lot of people have been hitting me up asking me about my opinions on Loki. Would I change him? How would I change him? Should you add DPS abilities? And, you know, the short answer? Nope, wouldn't change a thing. Not a thing. End of bid. Bye-bye. That's it. I'm serious. Bye-bye. Alright. Would I change Loki? Now, this is not a new topic. The community as a whole has really been asking DE off and on for some type of DPS ability on Loki. And with more frames that have stealth capabilities like Ivara, like Ashe, they are running a variety of missions and can do it more efficiently than Loki. And that's really where this question stems from, ultimately. When you have a game like Warframe, it continues to evolve, it continues to progress, and with it you end up with a large variety of different types of content. And when you have a frame that just does not cope well with the wide variety of content, it starts getting left by the wayside. And that's kind of really precisely what's happened with Loki. And sadly, it's even gotten worse with Loki because people now use Loki as if he's part of their fishing tackle. As if he's like a fishing pole. Like, well, I'm going to go fishing on the plains now. I'm going to go mining on Orbalis. So let me get my hip waders, aka Loki, so I can fish in peace, damn it, Bobby. I mean, that's how bad it's gotten for Loki. So, really the requirements for making any changes to Loki would be, A, you can't change his kit. You just can't. You can't change his kit. His overall kit must remain intact. You can't tear it apart. You just can't. Now, being a traditionalist at heart, that's really kind of a biggie for me, personally. Second, any type of DPS tweaks you add to these abilities would have to be optional. It's important to keep in mind that 99.9 repeating % of the players in the Warframe community all have the same identical Loki build, myself included, which is you sacrifice all your power strength, which is 100% useless on Loki currently, and you focus on duration. So any tweaks that you make to Loki's kit would still have to be optional so players can still utilize their pre-existing build, and if they so choose they could use those configs or configurations to do a focus build on those new tweaks. And man, is that a lot. I mean, that's a lot of stipulations to make. I mean, I would hate to have to be the developer at DE that would if they were ever forced into a corner and had to go through with this, having to make these types of tweaks and keep all of those things in mind. It's really kind of scary. Now, on a side note, I will say, man, this takes me back. Look at this. Man, I used to love my Arcane Swindle helmet. I sold it. I'm kind of bummed about it now. Wonder if there's anyone out there that has an Arcane Swindle helmet I can buy for some plat. I would like so buy an Arcane Swindle helmet right now, if you have one. I miss that helmet. Anyway, I digress. Let's talk about Loki's kit. Now, when we talk about Loki's kit, here's the thing. A large majority of the Warframe population don't actually even use the majority of Loki's kit. They just don't. I can't tell you the last time I actually queued up with, publicly, with somebody running a Loki that actually utilized, just even a decoy, or a switch teleport, or radial disarm. Loki has become such a one-trick pony of invis that. Now, yeah, you could blame this on players within the community just not knowing how to use Loki's kit, and I certainly think that that's a part of it, and I don't disagree with that. But what do I propose? I mean, listen, starting Warframe when Loki was an actual starter frame choice, you get a lot of time to spend with your starter frame, and I mean a lot. You guys know what I'm talking about. So I've had a lot of time to ponder this. So this is what I propose. First of all, invis. Changes not needed. Move along, please. Nothing to see here. Keep moving. No changes needed. Bye-bye. Radial disarm. Stay in your lane. In my opinion, no changes needed. It's entirely fine. Absolutely entirely fine. So the tweaks that I propose would occur with Loki's 1, decoy, and Loki's 3, switch teleport. So what we would do with decoy is when Loki throws out the decoy, it begins to absorb damage. Right just prior to that decoy dissipating, all of that absorbed damage would be stored and then released in an area of effect blast, damaging enemies within range. Now this would be controlled by ability range mods and strength mods. Duration would still have an impact for the amount of time the decoy stayed around. You would need duration to store more damage and therefore inflict a bigger area of effect, or a higher area of effect blast. So that would be the first tweak that I would suggest. The next would be switch teleport. Now switch teleport here has always kind of confused me. Alright? Because it seems so gentle. It seems like just Loki just gingerly deposits an enemy in his previous spot. Like, I literally expect Loki to go over to an enemy, put his hand on their shoulder and be like, okay, hold on tight, put on your seatbelt, going for a ride, and we're there. It should be harsh. It should be mean. It should be nasty. You know, I mean, that's what it should be. I mean, and so that's the change that I propose. The further an enemy is away from Loki, that switch teleport should just blammo. I mean, technical term, blammo, by the way. It should inflict a severe amount of damage on that enemy. The closer they are, the less damage you deal. So again, this would focus on trying to get those enemies further away to inflict max damage. So range would be a factor still. That would not change. But you would also, power strength would be a factor in how much damage it deals. Alright? Now, another good thing about the proposed changes, the tweaks that I'm suggesting, is that with Loki, neither one of these changes would affect Loki's currently existing mods. They just wouldn't. Safeguard switch, no changes needed, because that centers around switch teleport with allies, so no changes. Decoy, save your decoy, again, would work exactly as it does now, no changes needed. Hushed invisibility still works exactly as it does now, no changes needed. Irradiating disarm, no changes. Now, on a side note, I personally think that the irradiating disarm needs to actually inflict a really good amount of damage, but as it stands now, the two changes I propose, tweaks I propose, would not change any of these augments. So that's another plus side for DE. So let me kind of show you, kind of illustrate what it is I'm talking about, and just in case I was kind of confusing in my description, and this wouldn't help since you're not going to actually have the visual, but I think you guys will get the idea. You guys are pretty quick on the uptake. So we've got I'm just going to call up 7 heavy gunners at level 25, and I am going to be using Invis so I can rap and chat with y'all. We're not doing any serious testing of weapons, so I don't need level 160 heavy gunners, but this will just give you a general idea. Okay, so here's what I propose. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So, decoy, you would throw it out as such. Enemies begin to inflict damage. It absorbs damage right prior to its dissipating. Blammo, technical term again. And it would do an area of effect blast. Again, the length that the decoy stays around would be affected by duration, but the range would be, well, excuse me, the power strength mods would dictate how much damage it's going to deal, and then the range mods would dictate how far that area of effect blast is going to go. Now, the next tweak I suggested would be the switch teleport. The further an enemy is away, the more damage you're going to rend onto them. The closer they are, the less damage. Just quite simply how it would go. Alright? So, those are the changes that I would make and I would suggest. Now, again, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section, because I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. Do you use Loki now? Would you have a build centered around these tweaks? If you don't use Loki, would this get you to actually use him? What are some of your ideas for tweaks or subtle changes to Loki? Let me know down in the comment section below. And until next time, peace and grace.